Greetings! Today I, Daniel Aguilera, and my partner Felipe Medina are going to report the skills and practice of an English teacher in certain contexts and patterns.
So, in order to start this presentation, our objective is to analyze the teaching practice through the lens of some approaches and methods that we are going to explain later on this presentation.
But first, we need to give you the scouted context. The school where we realized this report was the Santa Maria School, whose place in the Santiago region and the area of Quilicura. The class that we observed consists of a 10th grade that have 4 modules of English, 2 in Friday and 2 on Thursday. Also, the class were composed for about 40 or 43 students, and this school, it's important to remind that it's secular. It means that it doesn't have a religion attached to their principles.
So, in order to introduce a little bit of this teacher, she was graduated from Santo Tomas University. She has been working on this school, Santa Maria, for 1 year and a half. And of course, she is a former student from this school, Santa Maria.
Now, to give you a little more of insight, we decided to interview the teacher and analyze what were her beliefs and what he has to say to us in regarding of the language itself and how it's going to be learned. Primarily, she has a communicative model of the language. That means that the language is a vehicle for expression, and it's regarding of the functional part of the language. As you can see in the PPT, there is a quotation that says that the language, the main idea is to communicate, and the grammatical rules are not so important in her opinion, because the important is the way you say, the way you express yourself, and if you are going to be able to deliver that message.
So, in order to continue with the idea of Daniel, this teacher focused on the 3 of the 4 skills. So he focused on listening, speaking, and writing. Regarding the previous idea, both of these skills are active, which means that they can spread, they can produce through those. First is speaking and writing. The other skill is listening, which is a little bit passive in comparison with the other ones, but is necessary to express and to understand messages and produce it, of course. And of course, these skills are necessary because the teacher follows a communicative model. So these skills are crucial to express ideas, to use the language as a vehicle to express.
Now we're going to give you the class context. As you can see in the PPT, the class context has a special arrangement. In the PPT we have a picture and a diagram of the class. In the diagram, it's clearly how the class is being arranged. This arrange focusing on the whiteboard lets the students to focus on the teacher and what is the thought and what is written in the whiteboard. It lets not so much space for student interaction, but it facilitates the control of the classroom for the teacher. Also, this arrangement was not given by the teacher, it was given by the head teacher of each classroom. Also, if the students need to do whatever they want to do outside the classroom, that's been go outside for any reasons, go to the bathroom, go to chat with another teacher or principal, or just leave the classroom, they need the permission of the teacher. So the teacher is in charge to control the students when they leave and when they stay.
So, in order to continue with this class context, these are the materials that this teacher normally use. The first one is a book from Cambridge University, which the name is Interchange. This book is divided into different levels in which the students are. In this opportunity, 10th grade use of the Interchange Red Book number 1. Of course, he used a projector, normally in his class, marker and eraser in order to write down on the whiteboard. This book contains some exercise which are mainly oriented to the skills we already mentioned. Listening through different activities based on an audio, and writing activities based on filling in the gaps, repetition drills, and speaking based on the repetition of dialogues that are inside of the book. It is important to mention that this teacher does not use the book from the minister, because she considers that this book from the government does not help to students to develop those skills according to their realities in which they are developing.
Okay, now that we have the context, we're going to give you the methodology that we follow in order to do this report. First, we'll start to gather in all the contextual data. That's mean the teacher backgrounds, the school context, the class context, and everything that we couldn't get through the observation, we gather in this step. Then we comes with the observation of the ethnographic report in the class. Here we try to identify as many as possible things that will help you to develop and understand the teacher's activities, sides, insights, thoughts, and beliefs. Then we consider that the ethnographic report was not necessary to fully understand the teacher, so we decided to make an interview in order to gain more insight than we have previously. For that, we have all the data that we consider necessary. We choose to start to analyzing the data with the help of authors that we have seen during our course in the university. And finally, once this process is done, we decided to reach the conclusions that are the beliefs that we have regarding the teacher class and the teacher activities, beliefs, and ways of teaching that the teacher have regarding EL.
So, in order to start with the analysis, first we want to compare if it is a teacher-centered class or a student-centered class. First, we have to say that teacher directs the class. He is in charge to provide the content. He is in charge to regulate the interactions. He is the initiator of the class. This means that, for example, a quotation. She writes down in the board the challenge, the content, family member in this case. So she is providing the content to the class. She has to teach them, and they have to learn from her. She is the initiator of the interactions, as I said before. For example, she asks a student for a number, and then that student has to answer some questions like, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite actor? Do you have a favorite band? What kind of music do you like? That kind of students, in order to start creating an environment. Basically, she is in charge of initiate this interaction between teacher and students based on some questions that he normally uses. Moreover, as she is the initiator, a student definitely have are subject to her, to what he was to what he want to do on classes.
Also, following the line of my partner, she decides how the dynamics on the class are going to be take place. She's the one who controls the behavior of the kids, and she's the one who decides when it's time to do an activity and when is the time to listen to her or explain the things. For example, in the first quotation you can see how she is calling a student in order to make them be quiet and remain silent while she is trying to give some content. Also, one of the things that help us to understand that she has the total control of the dynamics in the class is the second quotation that she says that she greeted the students and gave them permission to sit. That means that the students doesn't allow to sit until she gives the permission to do it. She also this ritual of greetings consists in she stand in the front of the class, she wait for the students to be quiet or remain in silence, and then she she greet them and say hello, how are you, nice to meet you, please sit down, and the students sit down. So this ritual follows every morning, and they always following the same routine, and this show how she controls the dynamics, or one of the most, or the most part of the dynamics within the class.